Everybody, welcome back to yet another episode. I'm joined here with Louis and Carla. Carla's going to be our host today. So, Carla, what topic are we going to be talking about today?
We've got a really good one, especially here in Florida. We talked recently about how there's supposed to be this super Godzilla El Nino season that's happening for the end of 2026. That's going to mean a lot for our hurricane season. It's not actually very good news because it could tamp down the hurricanes in the Atlantic, but it fires up the hurricanes in the Gulf. And we all know that that's where our biggest concerns come from. So, today, our topic is something that every homeowner, especially here in Florida, especially here in Tampa, in the Tampa Bay area, needs to know about. And that's standby versus portable generators. If you've ever wondered what size generator do I need, what's the difference between a standby and a portable generator, and are they really worth the investment? We're going to answer those questions today. You guys ready?
Absolutely.
Fire away.
All right. So the first question I have is, what is a standby generator?
So, a standby generator is basically a piece of equipment, a generator that sits on the side of your home. And when the power goes out, after a few seconds, the generator turns on, transfers power, and powers your home.
Okay, perfect. And what would you say is one of the biggest advantages to having a standby generator?
Well, it's just that. I mean, it automatically turns on by itself. Obviously, there's different sizes of generators, so depending on the load you want to run in your home are gonna be dictated on the size of your generator, just like any other generator. But the biggest advantages are going to be like keeping the lights on, the refrigerator. I mean, shoot, we live in Florida, and so we're not up north, so it gets very hot here in the summer months, and the summer is when we also get hurricanes.
Gotcha. And so, how quickly does the power turn back on with a standby generator? When you lose power from your power utility, what does that look like? How quickly does the power get restored? If you have a standby generator, maybe not restored, but how quickly does it return from the power source?
So, as far as like when you lose power,
Hmm.
your power, most generators are gonna transfer power within 30 seconds or less. So you have the initial startup, it senses that there's a loss of power, then the generator fires. Then after that, there's a transfer that happens shortly after. When you go back to utility powers, like when power is restored from the utility company, the system senses that the power is stable. It reads that for a certain amount of time, could be a few minutes, depending on the manufacturer of the generator. And then it automatically transfers power back to the utility, which is your power coming in from the utility company.
And so it takes about 30-ish seconds or less, you said. Do you have to do anything as a homeowner to make that happen with a
N-
standby generator?
No, so that's the biggest advantage when it comes to a standby generator is it's automatic. So as soon as the power goes out within that time period, you don't do anything. You could be watching TV, laying in bed, or cooking dinner, and the power is going to transfer over to the generator automatically.
Okay, awesome. So now we talked about what a standby generator is. Let's talk about the other side of the spectrum, the portable generators. So, what is a portable generator?
Well, oftentimes people see a portable generator as like a job site generator. It's just basically what it sounds like. It's portable. It's got wheels. In most cases, it has wheels, and it's mobile, so you can take it from one place to another. You can load it up in back of your pickup truck or the back of a car, depending on the size of your generator. Typically, buy these at your big box store, convenience store, or online.
Okay. And is this an automatic thing that happens like it is with a standby generator when you lose power? What is the process that you have to go through to use the portable generator?
Yeah, absolutely. So unlike the standby generator, which is automatic, a portable generator is going to be something that you have to, roll out. You need a transfer switch installed in order to operate it safely, unless you're going to run extension cords all over your house, which is not recommended. You have to, make the connection. You start the generator, and so it's a manual operation. It's something you have to physically do. So it depends on like everyone's situation, a little different as to what their comfort level is. how often they lose power, you know, mobility issues. Like, is this a young person that's trying to do it, or is this somebody that's, in their 80s? And
Because those portable generators can get pretty heavy,
yeah,
right? They're heavy to move around.
yep, absolutely, yeah,
I was thinking too that a lot of times in the office, we'll get a call from homeowners and they don't know if they have a standby or a portable generator. That's a question we get a lot. So the easiest way to know is, and this is our question to homeowners, the first question we ask, does it have wheels? If it has wheels, it's a portable generator.
yeah.
If it's on a concrete pad and you can't move it around, then it's a standby generator. So that's a good tip to live by, I think, to know what you have going on at your home. But unlike a standby generator, what can a portable generator power in your home if you were to lose power?
Yeah, well, just like the standby generator, there's different sizes. Most, even smaller generators, 3,500 watt or 4,000 watt generator can keep the lights on, the refrigerator going in your home. If you go with a slightly bigger generator, uh, even a 7,500 watt generator with the right other equipment installed, and we'll talk about that here, you can actually even power your AC unit.
Wow, that's new. It's a new, um, in the past, that wasn't always possible
Yeah,
to do that, right?
yeah.
So that's exciting. So let's talk about the differences between the standby generators and portable generators when it comes to power output. When it comes to standby generators versus portable, who has the higher power output?
Well, I mean, for standby generators, they're always gonna be bigger, right? It's a bigger case, and put it and there's gonna be a bigger motor, bigger generator in there. Hospitals have generators, so you just can't really compete with a mobile, although they do make trailer mounted generators. But for the purposes of residential homeowners, standby generators typically are gonna be have more capacity.
Hmm.
If you have like a really large home and you want to power everything, then standby generator would be the way to go. But they're coming out with bigger generators now that are 28 kW generators are very compatible or in line with the output wattage of a standby generator in most homes that have a standby generator.
Oh, that's very interesting. So let's talk about convenience. It seems like the standby generator would be extremely convenient. We have one at our home, full disclosure. We have a standby generator. How many kW is
Standby
it?
generator we have at our house is a 26 kW.
Okay. I will say the convenience is really nice because when we lose power, we don't have to do a thing. Um, but we have to preface that
Yeah,
because we did lose power when it came to
I know.
Hurricane Milton. We had been having our unit serviced. That's a very important part of the pricing when it comes to standby
Yes,
units.
making sure you take care of it.
You have to take care of it. And that's a lot of cost to have that maintained because it's a motor essentially, right? So you almost have to have like a mechanic come and work on it. You got to change the spark plugs, you got to change the battery. In our case, I had heard it because it runs like every week, it does a test run. And I always listen out for it. And the week before Milton, I heard it running and I thought we're great, no problem. Um, and then during Milton, we lost power and we were waiting the 30 seconds for it to come back on and nothing. It's kind of our emergency plan is our generator because it runs our entire home. And we had a lot of people staying with us because we have the generator and then it didn't turn on, which was super embarrassing.
Yeah, the irony of this. The
Yes.
electrician to put it in, and it doesn't work.
But
Even
there,
though it was always working. That's
yeah, just the week before it had ran. So I was so surprised that it didn't turn on. Turns out the battery went dead, of course. The battery went dead. So he was out there trying to replace the battery in the middle of the storm. And anyway, yeah. So
not the best, yeah,
not the best
so
situation, especially with a house full of people relying on your generator. But
yeah,
that's something to keep in mind is the cost to maintain the standby generators. You have to have a survey. A lot of times you have to have a service agreement with companies to come.
mhm, and
That's the only,
those can be expensive.
they can be in the thousands of dollars every year. Yeah, and some companies won't install your standby generator without you signing the service agreement.
Yeah.
So that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah, and that brings up a good point, Carla, is that you'll find that companies will actually lowball their price and then lock you into a contract with them, and then you wind up actually paying a lot more money than if you had a company come in there, do it right, and then they just, have a more reasonable price to maintain. Because no matter what, you're gonna have to, whether it's a standby generator or a portable generator, there is gonna be some maintenance involved.
Because a portable generator also has an engine in it, right,
Yes,
Louis?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Also has a battery a lot of the time, so if it's push button start, but it also comes with a little pull chain in case a battery fails. If you have a strong enough arm, then you can just pull it and get it started that way.
Yeah. So that's some I think it really comes down to what is someone looking for, because convenience to people is really subjective. For some people, it might be more convenient to roll the portable generator, in the garage and have to store something smaller and have something big on the side of your house that you're locked into this maintenance agreement, and it doesn't guarantee you're going to have power when the storm, as we know, hits and you lose power. So I guess convenience is subjective. It is convenient to not have to really do anything when you lose power. But on the other hand, some people prefer the convenience of rolling something out and hooking it up, once power is lost. What about obviously cost? Cost is a big factor. People are concerned about cost, and one is a lot more expensive than the other. So, what would you say about cost?
Well, there's a big difference, honestly. We're kind of firm believers in providing options for everybody, something for everyone's budget. So if you're like looking to do a standby generator, there's or a portable generator, there's options on both ends. It's just really depending on what you're looking for. But as far as the price goes, obviously a portable generator hookup is going to be a lot more affordable for the vast majority of the population versus a standby generator. There's a lot more things that have to happen with the standby generator that don't have to happen with a portable generator. So, as a typical starting point on a price for a standby generator usually starts around $16,000. An average across the industry, at least in the Florida area. And then that also depends on the manufacturer, like who makes the generator. There's the well-known brands, and then there's some of the less known brands, but they're actually really good generators. And then, with the portable generator, it's a much cleaner, simpler install. It's typically a fraction of the price. So normally you can get a generator, the transfer switch, and everything for under $3,000 versus 16,000 for something that you may or may not ever use. And something else I'd like to talk about, like, what are some of the other like benefits of having it is the cost savings. And that's the biggest benefit.
Portability too. If you sell the house and you want to take it with you, well, then you just have to pay for another installation at your new house rather than leaving your standby generator at your old house. So if you ever sell it, you can take it with you. It goes with you, and you don't have to worry about paying it again.
And I think another benefit too, along with what you're thinking, Lewis, is that could be a selling feature of the home because they're already set up with an inlet, which is what you need to plug into with a portable generator. And they can tell people if you're selling, selling a home's a little challenging in these times right now. Our house is set up; it's ready to go for a portable generator. So all you have to do is buy the generator, and you're ready to go. I think that's a nice selling point. And
Yeah.
what about safety between the two? Is one more safe than the other, or does that depend?
They both have their, individual safety concerns, obviously. There's certain, distances you got to keep a standby generator away from a home, like from a window opening. Same thing with a portable generator. So, I would say as far as safety, they're pretty equal as far as those concerns go.
I would say as someone who has a standby generator at their home, how is ours is run with what? Is it natural gas? No,
Propane,
propane.
propane,
So we have a tank that's buried underground. How big is our propane tank?
500-gallon tank.
Okay, so they have to come. That's another cost too to keep in mind. They have to come every year and they fill the propane tank. I think what else do we have that runs off of propane in our house?
Our instant hot water heater.
So it's the generator and the instant hot water heater. So I don't think we're consuming like a huge amount of propane every year. It feels like it when you get the bill. I can tell you that much. But that's another cost to keep in mind when it comes to standby generators is the fuel source, the propane or the natural gas, and depending on what's happening in the world, that can be pretty expensive at times.
Yeah. Yeah, and, when we're talking about fuel, the nice thing about the portable generators I really like is that they have tri-fuel generators. So you can run off of gas, so you can just get at the gas station. If you have natural gas at your home, you can connect to that, and you can run off your natural gas, or you can, run it off of propane if that has that option available on the generator. Whereas with the standby generators, you can't go back and forth or run gas, natural gas, and propane. They don't give you that option for a standby generator. So there's a lot more flexibility with the portable generators when it comes to fuel. I feel that, and also they typically burn a lot less fuel. Fuel is a big factor. Like people don't think about that. The bigger the generator, the more fuel that they're going to burn and going to use, which in turn is going to cost you more money. And after a storm, I mean, the lines to go get fuel or gas, can be really long. But if you're running off of one fuel source with a portable generator, you can switch over to another fuel source. So you can toggle back and forth. If you have propane at your house or natural gas, and for some reason natural gas gets shut off, there's an issue. I know I think South Tampa, there was an issue with supply from the utility company with natural gas during the hurricane, and a lot of people's standby generators were not working. But with a portable generator, you're not muscled into one gas source. So you can switch over and go to, regular gas.
And I think a misconception about a portable generator um, is that you have to keep very little gas at the house to run it. But I think something to keep in mind that we saw during Helene and Milton in 2024 is the bigger the portable generator, the more gas you have to keep at the house if it solely runs on gas. So the benefits of the tri-fuel are huge. That's definitely something that we highly recommend to our customers to if you're going to get one, get a tri-fuel one. Why not?
Yeah.
But if you aren't, keep in mind the bigger the portable generator, the more gas you have to keep in the garage or wherever to run it after the storm. And getting gas even before Hurricane Milton hit was a problem, which was really surprising for our area. It's not normally the case. I don't know what happened, but even in the week leading up to Milton hitting, we couldn't get gas. So that's something to keep in mind, when you have a portable generator. That's why the tri-fuel is something that you recommend a lot.
Mhm.
It gives you so much more options. So let's talk about the biggest mistakes that homeowners make. They make every single week here, especially in the Tampa area. Biggest mistake number one: people think that a portable generator can run their entire home. Let's talk about that. Can a portable generator, what does it run? And can it run your entire home?
Well, again, it depends on the size of the generator. But typically, no, they're not really designed to run everything in your home like you could run, with a standby generator, at least not at the same time. Although even standby generators, depending on their size, they're not always designed to run everything in the home either. So the portable generators are really designed for, the essential loads in your home. Maybe, again, you could run an AC unit. You might have to shed some loads if you wanted to like run your dryer or use your water heater or stuff like that. But again, you'd have to have an electrician come out, size, let you know based on what you want to run, what size generator you need, and they can make recommendations. We do it all the time. We install a lot of, portable generator hookups in Tampa Bay.
So when someone calls into the office, especially, if there's a hurricane coming and it looks like we could be in the danger zone, we get a lot of calls. And you can pretty much tell people over the phone based off of the size of their generator what they're going to be able to run in their home. So I think your first question to them is always, what are you looking to run after they
Mhm.
tell you the size? And
Yeah.
then you can tell them if that's going to be possible or not.
Yeah. Are you being realistic? That's the
Exactly.
first thing I think of. Okay, are they being realistic about this?
So it used to be that you couldn't run your AC unit with a portable generator, but that's changed. How has that changed and what do you use to make that happen?
Soft starters. A lot of people don't know that now in the ACs, you can install this little device that actually curbs the amount of power that the AC has to use at the startup. That way, the generator can actually keep up with it and actually run it. So, soft starts are a great idea to get installed whenever you have a big enough generator to run it.
Mhm.
And what does the soft start do?
Yeah, so it basically like reduces the amount of inrush current that's needed on that compressor. So I always give this illustration of like a car at a stoplight, and when you're gonna get the car from 0 to 60. So in that little time period, when you're pressing the gas and you're kind of you know full throttle, you might say, you burn a lot more fuel. So the same things with the compressor in an AC unit. When it's just stationary, that compressor, that motor has to get going, and so it takes a lot more energy to do that. So typically around 5 times the amount of energy it consumes when it's running, it's 5 times that when it start up. So if it's drawing 20 amps at during running time, when it's running normally, it'll draw 5 times that amount of energy. So you can draw like 100 amps at startup, or sometimes even more, depending on the normal running current of the compressor.
So at our house, or at a lot of people's homes, when the AC first turns on, sometimes you'll notice like the lights dim. So with something like having a soft start on it goes on the AC unit.
Yep.
So would that help to prevent something like that from the lights dimming when the AC turns on?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, so even if you don't have a portable generator, that could be something you might want to think about installing in your home, a soft start. Okay.
Yeah, and the other thing too is like a lot of people don't realize this, but they even put these in for standby generators.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so there's this misconception that it's only ever done with a portable generator, but a lot of times companies want to sell you a bigger generator, but with in fact they're just burning more fuel, and it sounds great. But if they just put in a soft start, you wouldn't even need to put in that bigger generator for those, the extra loads to overcome that initial surge or inrush of current.
Right. And something else I've noticed when our generator runs, it's not running on the full power from the utility. So it makes a lot of noise. Standby generators are very loud. I'm
Yeah.
going to just put that out there. It's normally on the side of your house. Most people don't have them some people do have them far away from the home, but most people have them right up on the house. And it's very loud. But I'll notice that it goes, and as it's doing that and flexing, the lights dim, they get brighter, they dim, they get brighter. And I'm sure that's not good for does that affect the electronics in your home when you're running off of that kind of power? Or does it not have an effect?
It could. It could. That's why we always recommend surge protection with every generator install. Like big surges coming in from the actual generator, kicking up power, trying to keep up with the load demands and things like that. So having a good surge protector installed will definitely help with a lot of those things.
Hmm.
Good to know. So mistake number 2, no transfer switch or interlock. So let's explain what are those first of all, the interlock or transfer switch.
So interlocks are manual. So an interlock, a manual interlock on your actual electrical panel are the manual ones that we would be installing with a standby generator. So if you ever have to use it, you just have to go outside, connect your generator, start it up, and then you actually go to your electrical panel and separate yourself with the use of the interlock from the actual city power. So it forces you to have to turn off the main breaker, keeps you away from the city, and then you're allowed to turn on the breaker for your generator.
And how big is that? And is the transfer switch or the interlock?
It's pretty small. A lot of people are surprised. It's a small metal mechanism that just gets drilled precisely onto your panel cover, and then it just sits there. And it always keeps that generator breaker on the off position as your house is using city power. And then once you have to transfer over, you just turn it off, slide it upwards, and then you can turn on your generator breaker.
And then there's some type of inlet that's required too for a portable generator.
Mhm.
What's that about?
Yeah, so that's designed to receive power. So unlike a regular receptacle we have in our home that we get power from, for a generator's giving the power. So a inlet is designed to receive the power from the generator and then bring that power into the panel, which is then dispersed throughout the house. That energy.
And that inlet looks a little bit different. It's like you said, it's different than a regular your standard outlet. And it does look different, the installation of it, right? It's more chunky, like if you were gonna plug in an RV or something, it looks more like that than your standard outlet, right? So it's easy to differentiate what it is.
Yeah, and it's super important to have these things installed properly because unlike a receptacle, it's a female side. So the inlet is a male side. So like you don't have a transfer switch and you don't do it properly, you can actually like somebody can open the little cover and stick their hands in there and get electrocuted. So it can be really serious. There's a lot of crazy stuff we come across.
But it's a plug, but in reverse. So the inlet, you open it up, and then there's these metal prongs sticking out. So if you don't have the correct mechanisms installed in the panel, somebody turns on that breaker. I mean, now you have these metal prongs that any little kid can open up and stick their fingers in there and get shocked.
So I just realized something. I'm not the electrician, but you have the outlet and you have the inlet.
Yes.
I don't know why, but in my brain, the light bulb turned on about that. So the outlet, power's coming out, power's going out. The inlet, you're drawing power into the home. That's the
Mhm.
difference
Mhm.
between, okay,
Yep.
all right. You think I would know that by now. Embarrassing, but hey, that's what it
Hey,
is.
that's what we're here for.
So what about the mistake of running your generator in the wrong location? That could be deadly.
Yeah, every
Yeah.
year there's they go over about generator safety. Never run your generator inside your home.
And that includes in the garage.
Yeah, yeah, garage. You want to keep your generator away from windows. Um, if you're running a generator, really don't want to open a window, even if it's more than 10 feet away, because that carbon monoxide, can leak into your home, and at the very least, if it doesn't hurt you, it can still make you sick. And sadly, like every year, there's people that do these kind of things. Like, oh, it's raining outside. I'm going to bring it in the house or bring it in the generator in the garage. Bad idea. Bad idea. Don't ever do that.
So also, people will sometimes bring it close or want to run them in the garage because they're worried about someone stealing it. Because generators fly off, especially the portable ones, they fly off the shelves when there's a storm coming. They can be really hard to source.
Mhm.
What do we recommend for how to prevent theft but keep the generator at a safe distance from the home?
Yeah. Well, some people have fenced in yards, so they could run it, on the side of their house. I always recommend also, keeping like the exhaust fumes or the muffler away from like a fence, anything that's burnable too. It's really important. But we typically do is like I just recommend to the customer, look, just if you buy yourself a cable or chain, just wrap it around the frame of the generator. That's a deterrent enough. And then, lock it, put a bolt in the house or through the wall or maybe wrap it around the track of the garage door and just close the garage door on the chain or cable.
One great idea I saw from a customer is he actually put these eye hooks or these metal hooks on his actual driveway. He bolted them down with tap cons, and he actually chains his generator onto that, which is, I mean, you don't have to take the chain all the way to your house as long as you can just hook it onto there, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, that would work too. Yeah. Yeah, anything that's a deterrent for
Yeah.
people. I mean, if you're looking, if someone's like an opportunist, they're looking for something for free. They have two neighbors, one next door to each other, and one's locked up and the other one's not.
Yeah.
Then
I mean, the weight alone should be a deterrent. These things can be like 200 pounds sometimes.
yeah,
But if they see a chain on it, they know that it has a lock. It's going to take them a lot longer to take yours than the neighbors. So,
yeah,
I mean, putting them in the backyard is a great idea as well because we can run the wires all the way to the back of the house, put the inlets in the back of the homes, and they can run it, in their backyard. That'll sometimes keeps a lot of the noise away.
Yeah. I mean, and these things actually happen because, I mean, theft happens. I mean, even at the
Oh yeah,
big box stores, when there's a hurricane, sure enough, there's probably 6 generators that walk off.
people are desperate.
Yeah, people are desperate and they do, they do things they don't think about or they
Mhm.
don't care.
Right. Those are very good points to keep in mind. So let's talk about the Florida reality. The reality is, if you're living in Florida, especially in the Tampa Bay area, power outages are not just a matter of if, it's a matter of when. We get hurricanes, but not just hurricanes. We talk a lot about that, but even just our summer storms. We had a couple nights ago, we had a lot of rain. We haven't had rain for a while, and we had a nice soaking rain. And we were driving down Hutchinson Road, and there was a big tree that fell outside a church, and it took out the power lines. So these summer storms can do that, or they can cause accidents where people are running into the power poles, and all of a sudden you lose power. So it's not always just a matter of losing power during a hurricane. There's other issues, grid issues. Tampa's growing. Hopefully, we won't run into the brownouts like they have in California, but our power grid, it's a lot to keep up with. So there's a lot of different times when you might lose power. But when the power goes out, you want to have a source to run it. And for some people, this is extremely important. As you talked about, if it's going out because of a summer storm, the rain typically makes things even more hot and humid sometimes. So if it cuts out your AC, that can be a real danger health wise. If you have no power going into the home, we have elderly people that we get calls from. We've talked about it before in one of our other episodes, but now so many people relying on their EV cars, their electric cars. And if they can't charge their cars, they can't get out and go to work or get around town, run errands. The food spoils in the refrigerator. That's a big one, right,
Yeah,
guys?
that can be
Absolutely,
expensive.
absolutely, that is
Yeah.
expensive.
Oh, with the way food costs are right
Yeah.
now, losing a whole refrigerator full of food.
Back to how you can lose power. I had a customer the other day. They had a truck come by their home and actually took down their power lines. So they were without power for a couple of days while they were getting quotes to see how they were going to get their power restored. They ran extension cords inside the house from a generator, but if they would have had the right installation, then I mean, they could have been running the whole house by the time we went out there and actually did the job for them.
Yeah. Uh, your house gets super uncomfortable fast if there's no AC running in Florida.
Yeah.
That's the reality. And we all want to be comfortable. I think I start feeling uncomfortable when it gets above 78. I sound like a huge diva, but I'm
Yeah.
Florida bred and raised. And if it's over 78, I'm feeling pretty hot. I need my
Yeah.
air conditioning.
Yeah. It's interesting. Just made me think about something is like, if someone wants to know what it could be like to be without power, just go to your electrical panel, shut off all the breakers, and see how you feel in 8 hours. And you'll have a pretty good idea in Florida, how you're gonna feel. And that might make a decision as to what you're comfortable doing or not doing, and what you're comfortable living with and not living with. But yeah, there's and not only that, but like if you leave, like if you leave the area, there's costs involved with that too. Like, granted, if you like live in everyone has to make their own decision what they want to do, but there's like hazards. I mean, people die leaving the area.
Well, you could die on the road leaving. We all know how we drive in Tampa. You
Yeah,
could die in a car accident trying to leave if you don't have to, if you're not being,
like
told
they're in a
that you need to leave.
mandatory.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like in a
If
mandatory
you're choosing to
evacuation.
leave on your own and it's not required, you could die on the road versus
Yeah,
stay in your home and have a comfortable setup if you're able to do that.
yeah,
And I think medical issues too. We get customers a lot of times who call, they're on oxygen or they have medicine that they have to keep cold. That's also a consideration to keep in mind as to why you would want to have an installation done. You guys have any customers like that?
I do. I have a customer that's on insulin. So it's very important to her to have a setup to where if she loses power, she can quickly go outside, connect everything, and actually keep her fridges running because that insulin has to stay cold. It can't go bad. I mean, she lives with that.
Right. Yeah, I think that would give you a general sense of peace of mind. one less thing, because there's so many things, especially if you're in a mandatory evacuation zone. There is so many things that you have to keep. And then sometimes I know in recent history, those mandatory evacuations came and those people didn't have a lot of time to evacuate. So they had to run in, just grab the important stuff and go. And, so when there's a storm coming, there's so much we have to get to the grocery store, we have to get our toilet paper. We have our
The toilet paper thing.
so gotta get the toilet
Sounds like a
paper.
COVID-19.
But I don't know what it is about toilet paper, but you gotta get the toilet
Yeah.
paper. You gotta get your food, your hurricane food for your hurricane party. We know how we do it in the Florida area. And then you have to get the other stuff, their flashlights, the batteries, all that stuff. Um, when if you don't have to worry about your medicine or keeping your oxygen tank on, that's a real sense of peace of mind.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, okay, awesome. So, I think we've answered the question. I think it's not a one size fits all. What works better for you is really dependent on your circumstances, your personal circumstances. It depends on if cost is important to you, what's more convenient for you. There's a lot of variety. There is a lot of options now more than ever, thanks to companies like Amazon and things where we can go online and get them delivered within a day or two. So that's really helpful. So there's a lot of things to keep in mind. Let's talk about our pro tips because we do a lot of these. We're experts. We do a lot of transfer switch installations. We have done standby generator installations. Let's talk about some tips and tricks to keep in mind when we're doing those. Um, Anything comes to mind for you guys right off the bat?
One tip for me is don't let anybody convince you into running it off your dryer plugs and things like that and making up your own cords to actually run them in the house. A lot of customers, they'll come up with these suicide cords where it's a plug that goes into the generator and then a plug that's usually handmade by somebody and they'll plug them into their dryer. But, you don't have a transfer switch, so you can backfeed into the city if the power comes back. That's dangerous for linemen, dangerous for the customers themselves if they're around the generator and the power comes back. And then on top of that, now you have the reason why we call it a suicide cord is because you have this cord if your generator's running. Now you have these live prongs that if you touch them, there's 240 volts going to that. You can seriously hurt yourself or somebody around you.
Yeah, yeah. And I would say too, like when selecting a generator, buy a tri-fuel generator. I brought it up earlier about the different fuel sources, and we're talking about for portable generators here now. You want to buy a tri-fuel generator because if you move, for example, and you go to another house, the other house might have natural gas, whereas the house you're at now didn't have that. So it gives you more options. It's also a lot less money. I mean, almost for the cost of maintaining the standby generators, you can literally buy a new portable generator every year.
Wow.
I mean, that's pretty significant. I think the other thing too is people think like bigger is better. And I always let them know, hey, look, fuel is a factor. You have to think about that. Yeah, you may be able to run more things, but for the most part, the portable generators are going to give you 50 amps, and that's it. So going with like a 28,000 watt generator is not going to benefit you other than you're going to burn more fuel. Like if you want to run your AC, great. We can let you know what size you need without like having to go overboard on it. And then the other thing is like there's the job site generators and then there's like the safer portable generators. So I always recommend if a homeowner hasn't already bought their generator to select an inverter generator because those produce a cleaner sine wave. So they're better on like your electronics in your home. Because after all, this is for the home, right? It's not for a job site. It's not for power tools. So when it comes to your electronics, if you work from home, you've got computers, you have your nice TV, pretty much everything today has electronics built into it. So if you want to protect those things, be better to get an inverter generator. And usually they're not much more money. And then like another benefit to them is that they're also quieter.
Yes.
Yeah, Is that the point you're
Yeah,
thinking
that's
of?
what I
Yeah.
was gonna say. I don't know how much in percentage wise they're quieter, but they're significantly quieter than your average job site generator.
Wow, that's something to keep in mind. Our generator, our standby, is so loud. Yeah, you can hear it through I think the whole neighborhood hears it. They know when we're running. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think another interesting point that I overhear when you talk to customers about portable generators and some options that they have is if you don't want to do maybe a soft start, is you can buy a window AC unit
Mm-hmm.
or, maybe not a window, but portable AC unit. You can normally get those for used to be like $300. I'm not sure what they are these days. But you could run up to Home Depot or Lowe's, grab a portable AC unit and put it in the room because normally everyone's together, so put it in the room where everyone's together and cool that room down.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a way to get around having to buy one of those huge portable generators.
Mm-hmm.
That's a go around method I hear you talk to customers about too. So everyone's comfortable, but you don't also have to spend a ton of money on your generator.
Yeah. Yeah. And although we don't sell portable generators, we still make like recommendations on like sizes based on, and this goes back to like, it's not one size fits all. We try to accommodate our customers, give them, recommendations or suggestions based on what they want to do and in their budget to a reasonable degree. So yeah.
You don't need the biggest generator out there to run the important stuff, right? So if it's lights that you want to run and your refrigerator, maybe you don't need to go with a 50 amp generator. It could be a little bit smaller. You get to save money on the generator and a little bit of money on the installation as well. And we can still get you going during the storm.
So sometimes it's just about if you're willing to manage the load.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I guess the one other thought I have about, the portable generator is like if you sell your house, you take your portable generator
Yeah.
with you. It's not
Yeah, it's
part of
yours.
the home, but as was mentioned before, is like the transfer switch is still there. So it's still a selling feature for whoever
Mhm.
buys the house,
Mhm.
but you don't have to leave your generator behind
No.
as opposed to a standby. It's bolted to the house.
Oh, it's definitely
So
staying
it's
behind.
going to be standing behind. The homeowner's going to expect it, and it's a standard practice. So it's something like that. I mean, no
Yeah.
one's going to unbolt that, take it off,
Yeah.
and bring it somewhere else.
That would be weird. I don't think I've ever seen one on like a trailer or moving truck.
Yeah.
That'd be so weird if someone tried to do that.
Yeah,
It'd probably
It's kinda
cost a lot
cheap.
of money too to remove that big old unit
Yeah,
next to your
yeah.
house, your transfer switch. Then you got to pay to install a disconnect outside all over again. So
yeah,
it's an investment that can go with you wherever you go and also still make you money on the house that you're selling.
yeah. And the crazy thing is like if let's just say for some reason your house got really messed up, right? It's not inhabitable, but your buddy down the street or your family member, their house is good. You can load up your generator, take it over to their house. Maybe they don't have the transfer switch. If you live in the Tampa Bay area, we can, go and install the transfer switch at that new home where you're at. At the very least, at least you could, potentially run some extension cords and get the fridge running at their house because maybe they don't have power, but you have a generator. So there's so many different flexibility. There's so much more flexibility with the portable generator than you have with a standby. I think the biggest advantage to the standby is strictly that it's automatic. It's more hands off. That's really the only advantage, in my opinion.
So something that we do for our customers, if you're in the Tampa Bay area, go ahead and give us a call. If you want a consult or an estimate when it comes to standby or a portable generator, a lot of people, when they do have to pull them out and use them, these portable generators, they forget what to do. So we leave you with a video, so step-by-step instructions on how you can use it. We're the experts in the Tampa area with this. We know what we're doing. We have the transfer switches, Tampa Bay. A lot of companies you'll call and they can't get to you because they can't get transfer switches, but we'll have them. So if it's something that you need in your home, go ahead and give us a call.
Ease of use. I mean, like I said, that video is key to a lot of customers. They go back to it all the time. It's something that's tailored to their home and their specific system. Not every system is the same. So again, if they're running a smaller generator, they're going to want to know what to turn off, what to keep on. So that video is very helpful for a lot of our clients.
Yeah. Well, we hope you guys enjoyed this episode on portable generators or versus standby generators. And we look forward to seeing you on our next podcast.